Welcome back, Shield Wall Nations. Great to see you. This video is going to be about just a little rant on home defense and possible ideas you can take from me. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk little aspects of self-defense in the house, right? There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of false thought and false ideas being put out there. Like everyone is a tier 1 Delta, CIA, SEAL, Marine, MARSOC, whatever other, special force name you want to throw on. You are not that. Maybe some of you are. I'll back up on that. Maybe some of you are. But for the normal person, whether you're not special forces and you got in the military as supply, or maybe even combat arms, you're still not in the mindset of home self-defense, and you need to switch that, right? Being in the military, we always had our gear right next to us. Sometimes I've even slept with all my gear on, with my rifle right next to me. If something popped off, I'm right there taking care of it. But, excuse me, but that's not the case for the civilian world. I am no longer in the military. I try not to think of myself as in the military, as a civilian, but I bring my military experience into this. I'm a civilian. And I will admit that. And this is my opportunity to bring my knowledge to help other fellow civilians. And the house invasion idea, a lot of people glorify that, and it shouldn't be glorified. You're not going to be John Wick, doing combat rolls down the hallway, shooting up and then grabbing the guy, flipping over the guy, grabbing his weapon as you spray 5 other bad. No, you're not. You need to make a plan. A plan is important, because a plan is the practice that you can do over and over and over and over again with just by yourself, if that's where you live, roommates, spouse, kids, roommate, spouse, and kids, whoever it may be, right? First off, you have to draw a plan up. And that plan should consist of at least your spouse, if they so happen to be of the gun-loving or respecting variety. Make sure you designate that one person to be the person that calls 911. They can grab their gun and their phone and then call 911 as you are securing, the hallway, whatever your pinch point is, your defense point. Which is one other thing you got to create, is a defense point where you're just going to hold that ground, whether it be your bedroom door. Right? You can be within your bedroom and just hold that door down, wait for someone. You may be in the closet peeking around, waiting for someone to pop through that door, yelling, "Don't come in," blah, 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 whatever it may be. Because some states, you got to look at your laws within your city, your county, and your state. And federal laws too. Look at them all to save your butt, right? You may have to shout out, "I have a gun. I'm going to use it to defend myself." Okay? You may have to use that. You may not even have to warn them. The warning could be that one shot that gets them right in the butt. Think about that. So, have your plan, have your defense point, have everyone have a job. If that's your spouse going to get your kids and call 911, or have your spouse grab their gun and call 911, whatever it may be, have a plan. Also, within your plan, have the mindset that you guys, once again, I'm going to say it, you guys are not John Wick. You're not going to be able to just roll out of bed with your suit on, your tie flipping through the air, killing everyone. And you may not also have the time to grab all your gear. A lot of people are very gear centric, right? They'll have their plate carrier, maybe even an LBE over their plate carrier, with their battle belt, with their leg strap holster, with their ballistics, and get their night vision, and get this, and get their rifle with their sidearm, and maybe another rifle and just get geared down, you may not have time to do that. Your time may be pistol, turn to the door, shoot intruder. PID, personally identify, right, with your flashlight, and then shoot intruder. That might be the only time you have. Now, if you have a huge house and they're breaking through the door that's, 300 feet that way, I'm going to go and put my gear on. Hold on. Come back, gear down with your saw or something like that, and just Rambo through the whole army, busting through your door. But average person doesn't have that time. So do what you need to do to cut down the time as much as possible to get your first sidearm or rifle. You can have a rifle by your bed. But that's another thing is, once again, looking into your laws, could you have your sidearm unlocked on your bedside table or leaning against the wall right next to your bed, right? You got to weigh that risk. Do you risk, for some reason, having police come in and see that and go, hey, that's unsafe, you're getting fined, or whatever, worst case scenario, get arrested and everything taken away from, right? Or you go, well, I need as many seconds as possible to grab my sidearm so I can defend my house. Something you got to think about and take into consideration. Also, children. Take in consideration of your children. Are your children old enough to know that your sidearm, they do not touch? It is dangerous. They respect it. Do not touch it, right? Are they old enough to understand that? Take that into consideration. Or taking into consideration you have some angsty teen, then unfortunately people don't lock up their guns, and unfortunately we've had incidences in schools. Maybe you need to lock it up because of that. I personally will tell you to keep your weapons locked up at all times. Okay? That's coming from me. I am by no means a lawyer, the end-all be-all of law. But I'm telling you that. Don't go and tell people who says, hey, Lee over at Shield Wall Nation said you should just keep your guns out all willy-nilly. I didn't. Nope, I did not. Be safe and follow the law. However, if you don't do that, you don't do that. I can't stop you, right? But keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, the timing that you need to defend. You can't gear up and then be some Delta operator going through your house because you have 17 different gear things on you, and then you're rolling through your house with comms and the earbud comes like, I'm around the corner. Yeah, babe, I know. I see you. I see you over there, babe. Roger that. Moving out. Oscar Mike. Babe, just go. Just go. I'm going. But you may not have time to do all that. So keep in mind, a plan and make it realistic. And once you get a plan, practice. You don't have to hold a gun. You can just hold your hand like that. Hey, I got a gun. Pew, 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 pew. Or finger gun. But run through the plan. Whether you are the intruder, right? You can be the intruder, and your spouse can take the place of you. And just pretend your spouse is calling 911, right? Pretend your spouse is gathering the kids. And you run through your plan. You fake kick down the door. Hey, babe, it's boom, it's one. You yell 1, 2, 3 for each kick. And say on the third kick is what you kick down the door, you're coming in, right? 1, and they're in bed, and they're like, oh, what? 2, oh, they're getting out of bed. 3, they're grabbing their finger gun, and they go to the defensive position while they go, hey, babe, call 911. And then you're the intruder going, okay, bang, 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 I'm in. I'm intruding, and I see flaws. And then figure out what you can fix on those flaws, right? Like, hey, that part, our defensive perimeter, our defensive line, is way too far back. We need to push it up. Can we push it up? Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, kick through the door. Here I am. Oh, she pushed up. She's in a good position now. She can defend more of the house, right? Run through those plans. Because practice does not and will never make perfect. Never. But practice will make progress. So, You can even have a buddy come through, at least one that has the mindset of knowing what to look for as far as the mentality of being an intruder or a defensive person. That same mindset as you know what to look for, right? They can be the intruder. Hey buddy, I'm gonna kick down the door. 1, 2, 3, bang. Okay, I'm here. And they roll through. Oh, okay, don't shoot me. And they go, hey, by the way, bud, I noticed this. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's something for you to think about. Or what if I break through, instead of the front door, I'm breaking through a window? You're like, oh my gosh, the windows. I didn't even think about the windows. I'm just thinking about the front door. Or what about the back sliding door? Oh my, okay, that makes me think about something else, And you get more minds going through. You even have your spouse as the intruder. If you have a son or daughter old enough to be an intruder and go, hey dad, this was bad. Or hey mom, this wasn't that good because I can do this. And you're just like, oh my gosh, you're thinking outside the box. That's fantastic. Get multiple minds. Don't have your 5-year-old go, pew pew, what do you think? I don't know, cool, pew pew pew. And you're just like, oh, that doesn't help. Just make sure you have the actor have an idea of what to look for and have multiple, like I said, so you have different viewpoints, different mindsets helping you out. Plan, practice, practice, practice. Practice makes progress. Not perfect or not, you're not going to be the professional, right? That's just mine. That's just my little input on self-defense, home defense. It's not end all be all. I'm not a professional. If I've given you a little bit of advice, one thing, and you're like, you're an idiot on everything else, but that one thing I really do like. Okay, I'm an idiot on everything else, as long as you take that one thing, right? And then go watch someone else's videos and go, hey, this guy's really cool. I'm going to take 10 things he has, and one thing that Lee from the Shield Wall Nation told me about, I'm going to take that. And then let me go watch this guy's video. And go watch that guy. That guy had 2 things I like. Oh, wait. Lee from the Shield Wall Nation said that. Okay, yeah, that now makes sense. Okay, then you take all these little ideas, you write down on a piece of paper and go, I gotta make sure I do this, do that, do that. Throw grenades at the enemy, trip wires, guillotines, hang nooses, whatever. All these are cool. And then go, okay, now I gotta make my plan. Okay? Just be in a logical mindset. You're a civilian. You have the laws you have to follow. And you're not John Wick. Okay? Please be realistic, and most of all, be safe. Because this is real life, in case an intruder comes in, that's real life. And there are stories where people have trained at the range time and time again with their favorite gun, right? And they practice once a month, hundreds of rounds, right? And there's a situation where a gentleman did get into, he was actually shot. Surprisingly, he was shot through back his ear, out his mouth. And he was still scared. Like, even before that, he was still scared. And then, his training went out the window. And there's, of course, because he was shot. And he finally put the guy down. And there's another situation where a guy froze up. He fired. After the fact, after firing, he's like, I had, he was delivering jewelry. And the guy that he was going to sell it to came up with a gun. Luckily, he had enough time to draw, right? And pull. And then I think he got up to the waist, fired a few before coming up. And his weapon jammed because he didn't have the great grip and, position, everything like that on his weapon. And the recoil messed up the whole system. He had a jam. He had to figure that out, and he had to try to reload. There's 2 other guys in the car shooting at him. Luckily, he didn't get hit. 2 of the guys got hit. But another thing is, he didn't remember how many rounds, because he was just so into it, shooting, that his training and everything kind of went out the window. And in retrospect, he's like, I know everything I did wrong, but I wasn't prepared for it. But the one thing he did was a lot of dry fire, drawing his weapon, presenting it and putting it back, and presenting and putting it back. That helped him out to outdraw the guy that already had a gun on him. So That's actually one things I'm actually be covering is a lot of self-defense stories. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, this video is getting way too long and I'm ranting on, but I want to end it right there. So most importantly, guys, please stay safe. Please be smart about what you do. Please stay resilient, but most of all, keep that shield wall up. Take care.